Hey, Jenna here, and today I am sharing with you 5 red flags that you can look for when you're trying to find a somatic practitioner and how to know if you have a good one. So this is really important to me because I see a lot of things out there and somatics has become so popular. This is something that I've been working with for about 10 years. The last 5 years, I really dedicated myself solely to just learning more somatic practices and somatic certifications. I even specialized in majoring in somatic psychology. So this really is my heart and soul. This is the basis of the work that I do. And I always take a nervous system first approach to my work because it was such a life-changing experience for me in learning. But I know what to look for. You might not. So this is me helping you, no matter who you choose to work with, so that you can be better prepared and better vet the people that you decide to work with. So red flag number 1, they override your body's pace. So I don't care if you're seeing a somatic practitioner for somatic coaching or somatic body work. If they are overriding your body's pace, this is going to look like they're pushing catharsis, or they're forcing with pressure, or they are trying to initiate a breakthrough with intensity that doesn't need to be there, right? They are trying to perform rather than holding the space of allowing. And there's a real difference in that. That does not signal to the nervous system safety at all. That is a huge red flag that you need to be careful of. So just know if you go to someone and this happens, they're probably not a safe person to go back to. Red flag number 2, there's no education about your nervous system. And here's why that's a red flag. So if you're going to someone and they are helping you, maybe even teaching you practices, but they actually aren't teaching you anything about your nervous system state, they are making you dependent on them, then that becomes a problem, because the core emphasis of somatic work is for you to be empowered in your healing journey, to have a better understanding and way of communicating with your nervous system. So if that is lacking in the session, then there's a good chance that they're trying to set it up to where you become dependent on them so they can keep making money off of you. It's gross, but it needs to be said, because those type of people are out there. So please be careful of them. Red flag number 3, this kind of goes along with number 2. So number 3, they position themselves as the authority over your experience. What that means is they will pretend as though they know more about your life, your experience, and what you're going through than you know. They're not actually listening to what you're saying, and instead they're trying to fix and know more than you do. So they're trying to position themselves as the authority over what you are going through. You end up feeling corrected and not heard and misunderstood. All the things that you likely already feel in life is part of the reason for seeking somatic work, and so that can be very triggering to you. They lack the capacity of being able to hold a safe space, and chances are, 1, 2, and 3 red flags kind of all go together. That's going to be a lot of what you see in some of these fly-by-night practitioners that just jumped on the trend because they want to make some quick money and they're not actually in it for the right reasons or have the right education or credentials. Step number 4, or should I say, not step number 4, red flag number 4, lack of depth in working with somatics. So this is another big one, because a lot of these people don't have the education to back up the work that they're doing, and so they end up with a lack of depth in knowing how to and what ways to work with different nervous system types. A lot of times this will look like, and this is such a huge red flag for me, if I see someone talking about relaxation being regulation and using those interchangeably like it's the same thing, that is a huge red flag for me. And here's why. Working with someone whose nervous system state is shut down in a freeze response or even a functional freeze, relaxation practices can make that worse. So that's not regulating the nervous system. That's worsening their nervous system state. And so if a practitioner doesn't have the correct educational background to understand that and to grasp that, and they just think that any relaxation practice is a somatic practice, is a regulatory practice, that's a real issue. And I hope that me sharing this lets you be able to see a little bit more clearly when people start using somatics, because it's a trendy word, to advertise the things that they're offering versus who is truly informed around somatic practices. So definitely take note of that and pay attention to the way that they're using it. And if you're looking for a group that you can join that shares practices that speak to the range of nervous system states, you're welcome to join my free group, Soulwise with Jenna, on Facebook. You can look it up and join me over there, where I share tips and practices and things throughout the week to kind of help you on your journey, because I do believe that somatics is meant to be self-empowering. And lastly, red flag number 5. They don't share their credentials. Seems like a no-brainer, but sometimes we forget to check the credentials of people. And here's the thing, as a business owner myself, I have access to professional copywriters and people that can write content for me and things of that nature. However, those aren't my words, it's not my truth, it's not in alignment to me, so I don't do that. I've definitely tried it in the past and did not like it. I want to speak from me, from my heart, from my soul, because it's my message that you want to hear, not some smooth, copyrighted, content that someone else wrote for me because it psychologically sells. That is so icky to me. But having said that, those types of things exist. And a lot of times these fly-by-night people that are jumping on the trends, they are trend hoppers, and they have the money to pour into people to handle their content. So their content looks really great on the outside, but what you never seem to find is their credentials. And there's a reason. It's because they lack the education that they ought to have to be doing this work. So in North Carolina, where I am, somatics is actually governed by our Art Massage Therapy Board. So I'm licensed as a somatic practitioner. I specialize in working with the nervous system and applied polyvagal theory. This is all part of the work that I do. This is really my heart and soul and my background of what I'm doing. That is available to read on my website. Because I have nothing to hide, I can show and share. I am a licensed somatic practitioner. This is my background. I have numerous certifications in different somatic practices, different programs for certifications and work. And while I don't list them all because that's super boring and no one really wants to read all of that stuff, you can clearly see that I am licensed to be doing this work. And know that I am a psychology major in somatic psychology. So that is my background. That is what I bring. My credentials are there. What you don't see with a lot of people is them putting their credentials forward, and that is because they're trying to hide that fact that they don't have the knowledge that they ought to have to be doing what they're doing. And in that case, they end up being those practitioners where you run into those 4 other red flags that I talked about before. So this is why it's important to make sure you know who you're working with, that you work with someone that has been properly trained. There is a chance at re-traumatization working with someone that doesn't have the education and experience that they need to have to do this work. So it is really important to make sure you're safeguarding yourself as a client and ensuring that you're looking for these aspects of the offerings, right? You want to make sure that you're paying attention, even in the process of going through it, having a conversation. Do they offer a consultation first? Do they expect you to jump right in with some expensive program that they offer, right? Being able to talk with someone prior to doing this kind of work is kind of important. There needs to be a relationship. You need to make sure that you both feel comfortable with each other before you jump into doing some deeper work. So if you're interested in working with me, I do offer a free consultation. I do in-person work as well as online. So even if you don't live in North Carolina, I do have actually a whole separate website that is geared towards just the somatic coaching, which is bringing on board practices like breath work and movement practices and things like that we do over Zoom. So even if you can't be here, you might not get the body work aspect, but I can still walk you through amazing practices even from a distance. And that's pretty wild too. I love living in this time where we have the ability to do that. So just know that if you want to work with me, those options are there. I will list all that below so you can check it out. And I do hope you come join me in my free group, Soul Wise with Jenna. I will see you there. Bye.